Yeah, I know. You know that butterfly that I usually say, oh, there's butterfly in my tummy. Oh, he loves me. I love him. Oh, I just feel we can just be together. You know, movies is not even helping us at all. Like the way they print a lot of things for us in movies is not really like that. Yeah, Auntie come here, Uncle come. It's more than that. Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, welcome to Out of the Abundance of the Heart series, February edition. Actually, bum 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 bum. Let the drum roll. Brrr. Yeah, I welcome you all once again. Firstly, I would like to appreciate you all for the massive love. The love is so massive. Let me find myself. Yeah, I'm really grateful. I love the way you show me love. Yeah. Thank you for all the subscriptions. We're already heading to 100 subscribers. And if in case you're just seeing this video, show me some love. Do well to subscribe to the channel, like the video, make comments. In fact, last month's video I got a lot of comments, but thank you for the love. I really appreciate. Your girl is grateful. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so this month, February, what do you guess? Or what do you think I'll be talking about? Can you make a guess? Okay, don't worry. It's a month of love, so we are talking about love. Oh, love, 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 hey, love, love, love. Sorry, I know the composer. It's never an existing song. Yes, so we'll be talking about love actually. Well, this is actually going to benefit those that are single or dating, and it can also still benefit those that are married. But they know more. Like when I'll be relating some of the points I have, they would be able to relate more with it. Yeah, but this is going to help a single lady out there, someone who is dating, who is in courtship, to know better. Yeah, especially the thing we call love, that beautiful things, that butterfly in our bellies. Oh, that we giving us. Oh, I can't live without him. I love him. I love her. In case you're a man and you're listening to this. So what is love? Yeah, what is love? So I'll just be giving out or talking about 5 things that love is, and then I'll just at the end of the video give out some points or some things to ruminate on as a younger lady. But okay, without any further ado, let's dive right into it. Yes, what is love? Love is actually God. Yeah, that's actually my first point. Love is God. I know you're shocked. Yeah, love is actually God, because even in the scriptures, the Bible makes us to understand that for God so loved the world. He loved us. He is love. Love is God. God is love. There's actually a particular scripture that also reflects that. I will put it in the caption, in the description of the video actually. Yeah, so love is actually from God. Love is God. So when you're talking about love, or when someone is talking about love, or when someone is relating love to you, one thing to first check about, or wanting to check on, is the factor of God in the person's life. Does the person have the fear of God? Is the person the child of God? Because God is love. He's the originator of love. So if someone is, professing love to you, and the person doesn't love God, he doesn't have the fear of God in him, please, I think there's a question mark on that. You need to actually check that very well, because that is even a number one red flag for you to consider here. So there are a lot of Christians out there, so I don't want to use the word Christians that are not really, some Christians don't really have the fear of God in them. Yeah, so I don't want to just use the word Christian. As I said, someone who loves God and who has the fear of God in him or her. Yeah, it's very, very important. This is the person that will rightfully profess love to you. Yes, because God being love, while you study God and his attributes through the scriptures, you tend to know a lot about him, a lot of how he relates, how he speaks to you, how he corrects, and it's actually about love. Yeah, he does all of it in love. So look out for someone who has the fear of God. That's number one. Number two, love is actually not a feeling. Yeah, I said what is love, but I'm actually going to be mixing it into what love is and what love is not. So, but this is the only point that carries what love is not. So love is not a feeling. Yeah, I know. That butterfly that I usually say, oh, there's butterfly in my tummy. Oh, he loves me. I love him. Oh, I just feel we can just be together. Movies is not even helping us at all. Like the way they print a lot of things for us in movies is not really like that. Yeah, Auntie come here, Uncle come. It's more than that. So they used to say something that love is blind, but marriage will open your eye for you. It is actually true. Yeah. It is true. That statement is actually true. So that is why it's not a feeling. It's more than a feeling. Yeah. Something that will make you realize that love is not a feeling is when you are married and you are living with a person for the rest of your life. I remember someone saying having to live with one person for the rest of life. Maybe for instance, the person have to live 120 years. Okay, let's say 90, let's say 100, let's just use 100 here. And then you got married at 25, for instance, because these days people get married early. 25, you're married, so you have 75 years to be 100 years. So having to live with one person for 75 years is a lot. Yeah, I know. But actually, that 75 years, by the time you have even lived half of that 75 years, which is like 37.5 or something, if I'm right, you would realize that love is initially not what I think while I was in my youthful days, maybe the early 20s or 18 years into 20s. Yeah, so it's more than a feeling. Love, that would actually just lead me to my next point. Love is sacrificial. Yes. I started by saying that love is not a feeling, so that you would not have the perspective of, oh, you're all gonna be how cozy, how you loves me, we do anything, we lick your feet, we do. No, it's actually not like that. But one thing you tend to realize in marriage is that to profess love to someone is actually sacrificial. Like, it means you making sacrifices, like that is you doing things that on the norm is inconveniencing you. Okay, maybe I should cite an example too, so that you can understand. Okay, for instance, you have to an important appointment. For instance, says I want to use something important, and your husband is strong. It is sacrificial for you to say, oh, because you need to care for your husband, you have to either reschedule the appointment and all. But if that is you making sacrifices for him, and this is not me saying that that is a normal thing. Like, I know some of you just say, oh, that's a normal thing to do here, but sometimes it's you going out of your way, like you going out of your way to show that you love the other person. It's not really about excuse me, it's not really about you just saying, oh, I love this person by mouth. It has to also show with your actions, and by you sacrificing that time of appointments, which might be a medical appointment, for instance, to create a form of important scenario to the appointments. Maybe a medical appointment, maybe you need to go for a checkup or something that is very, very important for your health, and your husband is strong. You can't just leave it. You have to make sure he's actually at least fine, that you can see that, okay, even if I go for a few hours, he's gonna be fine. Okay, and one of the things you have to do is making sure he eats, he takes his medication. And maybe it's just like, okay, I'm tired, after eating and having his medication, he wants to rest. You know that, okay, he's gonna be fine by the time he wakes up, since the medication has a period of time to work in the system. Yeah, so that is you sacrificing an appointment for you. So love is actually sacrificial. It's not really about, it's not really too much of the feeling. Yeah, the feeling is there, but the next point I'll be mentioning is actually very important thing about love, and which is love gives. Well, love gives. And even the scripture I quoted in the beginning was that for God so loved the world. What is the next thing is that he gave his son. I'm very sure we know that God giving his son was actually was a precious person to God. So you can imagine the costs of him doing that. It actually cost him something, and he decided to give his son, just so we have what's redemption. He gave his son, that whosoever, oh sorry, let me misquote. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have what? Everlasting life. So he gave a son for some reasons, which is redemption. Yeah, majorly redemption, which sometimes we still call salvation. Yes, so whosoever is saved, whosoever claims to be saved needs to know Jesus, which was the Son of God. So love gives, Yeah, I know this is an important factor that even we ladies, we tend to look out for in a man, especially when we're in courtship. You just tend to look out for, this person must be a giver. The man I want to go with must be a giver, But at the same time, are you also a giver? Because we find out that sometimes in some marriages, by the time they are married, maybe the lady was more like a giver, for instance, and then maybe she was giving gifts to the man while they were dating. The man might be reciprocating, but the lady might be giving more, because some people here, they tend to be a giver, and by the time they get married, there's just this withdrawn parts that will just play out, in the sense that all those times that you be giving yourself gifts, going out is reduced here. Even though it's usually encouraged that don't tend to reduce it when you're married, but it happens. So and that's maybe the woman, the lady for instance, still continues to give, but the man is just like, I've married you, why should I be spending too much on getting things? And that's how men think sometimes, well, the woman still keeps on, giving. You get to a point that she's going to be tired. So that's why I said you also must be a giver. And as much as you're looking out for another person to be a giver, you yourself, are you a giver? Yeah, it's very important. So love gives, love. And while you're sacrificing, you're also giving. It might be your time, it might be your money, it might even be your body you're giving. Yeah, because me sacrificing to go for a medical appointment is me still depriving myself of some medical attention that I need to attend to my spouse well-being. That is using the other example I gave earlier on. So love gifts. Yeah, now that will take me to the last point. Yeah, and you know why I took it side is that this is actually very sensitive, and that's why I took it side. Let me just say it first. Love keeps no wrong. Like, love keeps no wrong. Yeah. Why I took it side is that this can be hard as a normal human, like a human who is just who doesn't have the fear of God, who doesn't love God. It can be very hard to not to keep wrongs, because the way our brains are wired as human is that we store information. So there's no way someone will do something and it's not in you. But the scripture makes us understand that love keeps no wrong. It doesn't want us to keep wrongs. And I was telling someone, I said the Bible is actually therapy on its own, because when the Bible says love keeps no wrong, remember there was a time a particular man, I can't really remember, maybe it was one of the disciples or not, he asked Jesus and said, how many times, well, let me just say, should someone offend me? Maybe the person said in a day, I can't really remember, but just paraphrase, in a day, and that will make me not to want to consider forgiveness. And one thing God responded with was 70 times 7 times in a day. And sometimes when we are doing Bible study and we're reading that scripture, that is 490 times. So look at it, having to count every offense that everybody give you in one day. Is it possible to actually count 490? It's not possible to me. And that is why Christ, always answer questions in parable. And that is just because he wants you to figure it out yourself. For instance, 490, I can't sit down and be counting 490 for me. I don't know about you though, but you'll be exhausted, you'll be tired. So what Christ is trying to paint to you is that you don't even necessarily need to count it. Just let go as it comes, because the more you try to keep the record, the more you are, getting more offended or getting more pained. So love keeps no wrong. In marriage, bro, and auntie, come here. In marriage, you have to tend to let go. There are a lot of things that we tend to play. There's not how you're not going to offend each other. That's one plain truth. Or say something that will make the other person offended. But you don't have to, when things are ironed out already, especially when you've sorted out, you don't have to always refer back to that was how the last time you did this, the last time you do that. That's not actually it's not gonna help the home, it's not gonna help the marriage, it's not gonna, there's the word I'm looking for, like, it's not going to be safe. Yes, it's not gonna be healthy for that relationship, which is marriage, because it's always gonna hurt the other person and make the other person feel like, oh, why is it that you always refer to past deed? So this is love. This is what love is. And that is why we must actually incorporate it in our own personal life and relating with people. Yeah, you just tend to just let go, even when, because there's not how, just like Yoruba would say, there's an adage in Yoruba that says even the tongue and the teeth, they fight, in the sense that you can accidentally bite your tongue, and that's how Yoruba said that's like a kind of fight scenario. So since, in as much as the tongue and the teeth, they have a time where that they are even eating themselves, how much more human beings that we are humans, we all come from different backgrounds and all of that. So there's no way you're going to tell me that you have a friend that you've been working together for 5 years and they've not been misunderstood. It's not possible. Or has it been that kind of relationship? Please question that relationship. I think you have a lot of question mark on that. Yeah, it's not possible. Even 1 year safe, if you people are really gelling and you see each other often and hollow. So so this is just what love is. And some let me just say, so women tend to, because their husband maybe offended them, I don't want to use the word offend, or maybe they had a misunderstanding and the woman is just like, she's hurt and all of that, they tend to even use the bedroom duties I would, yeah, they tend to use the bedroom duties to deprive the man. Hey God, that is wrong. And that will play out, especially if you're a lady and then you are cutting, and when your spouse offends you, you go out of communication. It's not good. If you are doing that, there's tendency you would actually deprive your husband when you get married of the bedroom duties. So, and that is not us professing the love that God professes to us, because most times or sometimes we just think about it. When we all think about this, I know, yeah, because when you just sit down and you're like, God, why do you just love me? Because it keeps us, he's aware of everything we go through and all of that, and he's so intentional about us. And you are just like, God, why do you love me? It's just because that is who he is. He's not going to say because maybe you just did something that wasn't wrong. For instance, you told a lie. He's not going to, because of that, and I say he's not going to relate with you. No, he's actually still waiting that you come to the understanding that, oh yes, I have lied. Father, I'm sorry for lying. And then you move on. That is God, and that is how we must also relate to humans. These are things that you should prepare yourself for, because marriage is not a bed of roses, living happily, living happily ever after. That word, oh God, movie and fairy tales, books and all of that we read when we were very young has put us into a lot of. But that is not what God professes about love. Yeah, so there's a lot of things to work on, like on yourself, and that is why for me, I'm going to be telling you to ask yourself rhetorically, because before you go into marriage, there's some things, even if you are dating the person and courting the person, some things you need to ask yourself. Can I actually marry myself? There are women, there are ladies that they would answer no right away. Then that shows that you need to actually work on yourself before you go into marriage, or else you're gonna have you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be heartbroken, you're going to be sad. And that is what causes depression in some people when they're married. And then that is what causes divorce in our generation. Like, the rate at which divorce is coming is just quite alarming. But when you know some things ahead of time, that is why it's good to read books about marriage, about dating, about love. For instance, the 5 love languages is very good book to read, even if you are single or you are in courtship or dating or you're married. Yeah, understand your own love language if you're single, and if you have someone, understand each other's love language and yourself. Yeah. So another question is, what area do I have to work on? Look at them. What area do you think you need to work on? You can itemize it and start working on it. And lastly, always have evaluation done. Once you have your list, always evaluate. Like, okay, maybe give yourself, just like we spoke last month, talking about listing what you want to do, for the year, the goals. Still evaluate. Okay, I want to work on myself on this and that this year. Evaluate at the end of the year. Was I able to achieve it? And this you can know by yourself to some extent, but sometimes the other party or your friend can be the one to tell you that, oh, you've changed, you've adjusted on things and that. And that is it. Yeah, I think I'll stop here for now. We might have other love series actually on this, maybe later on in the year. I'll look at how to incorporate some things. I'm glad you worked to the end. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Like, you can also feel free to share with maybe your friends or family, or someone you would want to be blessed by this. And also feel free to comment what you think love is and what love is not, based on your own experiences so far. Thank you so much. I love you all. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Kisses to you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.